So now I get to talk to you about food and feed you a bit, which I think is going to make you like me a little bit more. So I have an assistant with me who came in a cute holiday sweater. Her name is Mia. She's my teaching assistant at the university. She's majoring in nutrition, so I think the future is bright. She's great, and she's going to take my space in front of you after she finishes distributing the sample. So the first sample you all are getting, well, before I even start talking about the food, let me just talk to you a little bit about what, how I put together the menus and the recipes that you have in your packets. Holidays are coming up. I can't believe Thanksgiving's next week. How many of you are going to cook your Thanksgiving dinner? Okay, I'm not actually. I get to go to my sister-in-law's and let her stress and clean and cook and everything. So the holidays are already, they're starting next week and they go for a whole month. So we have, basically a month of getting together and having meals and meeting with family. And so what we eat is going to be quite important, and we can go down a really bad hill potentially. So a lot of these recipes are great to have for yourself, serve to your friends, and some of them you can actually make and take to parties as well. And that way you could be assured that you're going to have something fresh and nutritious. So the first recipe is what you have. It's a lemony white bean spread. And all of these recipes, incidentally, I did come up with. So I feel very, very proud of them. Pardon?
What page is that?
I don't know the number, but it's,
16.
Anybody got the number? 16. My background? Okay, before we get into my recipes, because I did develop them, I'm a registered dietitian. So I have an undergraduate and a master's degree in nutrition, and I also, as I mentioned, am a registered dietitian. I'm also a cookbook author. So I'm actually working on my 4th book now, coming out next year. And in addition to my writing, I teach at the nutrition department at NYU, where I teach students like Mia about food science and food technology, and also nutrition, just basic nutrition classes. So I teeter the line between food and nutrition. So I don't ever talk about nutrition and about numbers and concepts without connecting it to the food that you eat, because the food that we eat is very important to me, as you can see in front of you. So I hope you're enjoying what you're eating right now. What that is, it's a dip. So it's a white bean dip. Mia's over at the collection of ingredients, and she's going to lift up right now a container that has white beans and some dried beans. So in order to, how many of you work with dried beans or have dried beans at home? And do you find that it's easy to work with, or is it okay?
I find it very easy.
Very easy, and I think a lot of people are discouraged about buying dried beans because it just takes too long or it's a bit of a hassle. You have 2 options. You could either
It takes up less space
than the cans, for sure. They take up less space, more economical, better for you because they're minimally processed. Of course, they're going to have a little bit of processing, but you can just either soak them overnight and then boil them, or if you've forgotten, just put them in a pot with water, cover them by at least an inch, and bring them to a boil immediately. And then you could continue boiling them or let them sit for a while, and then they plump up, and when they're soft, they're ready to go. Don't add salt until they soften, because that might hinder their softening. But once they're soft, then you pop them in a blender, in a food processor, add a little bit of lemon juice, which are right there. And all that's in your bean dip right now is the bean, lemon juice, and olive oil. If you want a little pepper, maybe a little salt, then you can do that. And that's it. That's all you have. I've paired it with some really fresh and beautiful. I mean, I think carrots nowadays are coming so attractive with different colors. Mia's doing a great job at showing them. We've got a tricolor. These are organic carrots. And the radishes, incidentally, if you're going to the market, I bought these radishes this week. They're so fresh and so colorful. We have a big bag left, so we might put them out in case anybody wants to take more home with you. But some fresh radishes, and if you could see what I've done, we've put them in cups with the vegetables in there already, which is great for parties because often people will put a bowl of dip, and then you have all these people double dipping. My family does that, and we're related, but I don't want your double dipping. You know what I mean? So you do them either in individual containers. You can pack it with the veggies already, and you don't have to worry about that. And if it might even make for a pretty presentation, as you can see right over here. And then you can just grab and go. Grab as many as you want. And I actually think, because I'm seeing all of you kind of munching there, it's a great vehicle for eating lots of fresh vegetables. I did not cook them, those vegetables. I didn't blanch them. There's no salt added. It's just the raw vegetables that were cut up. A little trick, what I do sometimes is just put them in a bowl of ice water. It kind of crisps them up, gets them a little crunchier almost. And that's it. You don't have to really do anything to them. Leave you see how I've left also the stems? There's just little things like that that make them just feel a little bit more special. So you can try doing one of those. Okay, so there's that. A next one these are zucchini chips. And so we were talking about how chips are incredibly ultra processed, right? Not just processed. And so I came up with this idea of cutting up a zucchini, just slicing it very, very thinly. And then you can, depending on if you want to use a whole egg or just an egg white, dip it in egg, and then dip it in a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Bake them in the oven, and they come out really, really crispy, almost like potato chips, and they're incredibly flavorful. So that's a little idea, and you're using minimally processed foods, but you're getting a nice chip. And they actually last quite a bit of time, so they look just like that. Okay, the next one is a roasted vegetable salad. And what I love about this, and this I'm gonna do next week, and even though I'm not cooking, I can still kind of create this because roasted vegetables, especially this time of the year, are, it's a big side dish. You'll have carrots, you'll have rutabaga, you can have sweet potato, whatever it is, and it's great for us, right? But it does get kind of starchy and it can weigh us down. So a great thing to do is take your roasted vegetables and just toss in just whatever green you happen to have. So I have a plate there of arugula, and Mia, you can actually take some of that mixed blend of, even though here it says caramelized calabaza, you can use, sweet potatoes, whatever, butternut squash, whatever you have, and just toss it, go ahead, toss it in the salad. And the greens actually fill you up and give you a lot more fiber, a lot more vitamins, and a little lighter as well. We need to get a little bit of, get away from all of that starch. And it gives us a little bit of freshness too. Because the vegetables tend to have a good amount of oil when you're roasting them, you may not even have to add more oil or more dressing to the green. Maybe just a little citrus, some fresh lemon juice, some squeezing of that, or some lime juice, whatever you prefer. And that's pretty much all you need, even though I have the oil there. But yeah. Okay, so that's just a little tip about cutting maybe some calories with some greens. If you move over, Mia, the next one is my crunchy Brussels sprout salad. So this time of the year, Brussels sprouts are everywhere, right? And next week, some of you might have a Brussels sprout dish that you're gonna be making. This is something I do in the winter and in the summer. And I love it because it's easy, it's raw, so it means it's fresh and crunchy. And I think also over the holidays, we miss sometimes a raw vegetable for texture. Everything gets kind of bland, not bland, but I mean soft. So you have no variety in texture, and this is a good way of getting some texture. So you take a Brussels sprout, and Mia's gonna actually demo this. So Brussels sprouts, you guys know what they look like. They're these little round they look like little baby cabbages, right? If you cut it in half lengthwise, there she goes. Okay, so you cut it out like that. And then there's a knife, I think, at the end of the table there for you if you want to show them. And then after cutting it in half lengthwise, you then start slicing it thinly crosswise. They just shred on you. And then you get this shredded little cabbage that then you can toss with other fresh and flavorful vegetables like scallions. I'm going to put a little bit of walnut in there. And scallions, walnuts, and then some fresh lime juice and maybe a little bit of olive oil. And you have a really, really crunchy salad. In the summer, I call it my fancy coleslaw, right? Because it kind of feels like coleslaw. But in the winter, you can have that with some warm vegetables or some roast chicken or something, and you get that crunch, which sometimes we miss, All right. So there's that, and then the piece de resistance. This might be why you came, actually. This is dessert, and this one, I was talking to Niadi about what I wanted to serve at the end for something sweet, and it was really difficult because sweets are heavily processed, right? Because there's so much sugar, so many ingredients that are just not that great for us in a lot of desserts. But I don't know about you, but at least I like to end with just a little something sweet, right? So, I dug deep. I really dug deep, and then I found this recipe amongst my recipes, which I did for my niece's school, actually. And there's a lot of allergies, peanut allergies, and it had to be a completely allergy-free recipe. And the kids loved it, so I know you guys are gonna love it. We're gonna give them out. Actually, you wanna give out the trays as I talk them through it? So what the ingredients are, these are little truffles. And me and I made them, and we put them in these little, you could buy them in the grocery store, these little like cupcake liners that are the tiny ones, and then a truffle fits in there, so they look really pretty. So if you have friends or you want to give them away as gifts, all you do is you put oats, and you guys have the recipes, so you can get your ratios there, but you put oats, pitted dates, right? So make sure you take the seed out of the date. The pitted date, some almond butter. If you are okay with peanuts, you can always add the peanut butter, but almond butter makes it allergy-free. A little bit of vanilla extract, a little bit of cocoa powder, so less processed than chocolate, and a pinch of cinnamon, and you give it a whirl. Just let it go, and it will come out, it'll look crumbly, but when you grab it with your hand, it's like if you had a snowball, you know what I mean? Like you can actually pack it together, and it packs into this, and then you roll it in a little bit more cocoa powder. So the only sweetness, and they're pretty sweet, are the dates. That's where you're getting that sweetness. So it's a really natural product. What do you guys think? And you get these little truffles. Each one is about 40 calories or so. So you're not doing so bad. And total sugar, because of the sugar in the dates we were just talking about, it is 3 grams, but there is no added sugar. It's the sugar that's found in the actual fruit itself. You think you'll make these for yourselves? Yeah? Okay. Well, we have extra, so you can get a second if you so wish. Do you guys have any questions about the recipes or maybe cooking for the holidays? Yes?
Just one question with the carrot.
Sure.
Can you use, instead of cutting it up, the baby carrot?
So you could. Now, the thing with the baby carrots, the baby carrots are just big carrots that were cut into that size.
Yeah.
So they're not like smaller carrots. So they have been processed more.
Or the baby process?
Correct. So I think a lot of people think that baby carrots are just the little, like baby, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a baby, it's not baby corn because baby corn isn't a small corn either, but when we hear baby and then a vegetable, we think it's a very small version of the real thing, when in fact, in the case of the baby carrots, it's just bigger, it's like almost like horse carrots that they cut down into smaller pieces. So it'd be better just to buy a regular carrot. And then I cut these in half and quartered a lot of them, if you can tell. And then you get them and sometimes in these really nice, they kind of they look a little, more attractive, I think. But yeah, but good question, because the baby carrots are processed.
Baby carrots with no work.
Yeah, it is true. That is true, yeah. And you know what, that's when you make that choice, right?
No, I never realized what you were saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never thought of it that way.
Okay, let me get you in the front and then I'll get you two ladies. Yeah.
But this recipe, that doesn't have a lot of sugar, right?
No, the source of sugar here is the...
I have diabetics in my family, you have to be careful about that.
Correct. Yes, you do. And so dates have them, but each serving has 3 grams, as you could see in the thing there. So they're...
Sodium.
So, yeah. And yourself? Well, let's... Okay.
Peel your carrots?
I did not. These are not peeled. These were not peeled. I don't peel them, and you don't have to. You just scrub them. Make sure you clean them, but I don't peel them. Yeah.
Did you bring the cookbook?
No, I didn't, but thank you for asking.
What's the name of...
There's... Well,
Can you get afterwards, can you write them down?
sure, I can write them down. And if you go to Amazon and put my name in there, they'll all pop up. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions regarding maybe the recipes or questions for the holidays and cooking? You think you're going to be able to use these?
I want to mention something that I do. I don't buy any salad dressing. I make a tahini dressing.
Okay.
And it has a lot of lemon juice in it, and it'll stay a few days in the refrigerator.
Right. Yeah. That's great. That's great. And just fresh citrus is great as a dressing.
A little cumin.
Some spices. That's nice.
And garlic.
Oh, look at that. Okay. That sounds like a great recipe. I might steal it. Yes.
I missed the name looking for the book.
Oh, my name?
Yeah.
My name's, it's written in your packets, Lourdes, or actually, I think it might be in that
You
thing.
should all have the calendar that
The
looks
calendar.
like this, and if you scroll through to the November page,
you'll see Lourdes' name is listed right at the top there.
So it's Lourdes Castro.
What's the name? What are the names?
Oh, so one book is called Simply Mexican. So if you like Mexican flavors and Mexican cuisine, there's that one. Another one is called Latin Grilling. So it's a lot of recipes for outdoor use, a lot of recipes that are found throughout Latin America, both Central, South, and the Caribbean. There's a dictionary you may or may not be interested in. It's a Spanish-English dictionary. So I'm of Cuban descent, and so that's what fuels a lot of my cooking. And then I'm working on a Cuban cookbook, which is coming out next year. So that one's to come.
Is there anybody doing a cookbook of simple soups?
Oh, I'm sure there's out there. Yeah. I'd have to, yeah, I'm sure they're out. There's soups is definitely a category where there's lots of books out. So I'm going to pass it over to you, and thank you for your attention.
Those are some great recipes, right? Thank you, Lourdes. So, I'm Aloni. I'm working with Niyati on her research projects. I'm also pursuing my MPH, and I just want to tell you about the research studies that we've been conducting, and we would love you guys to be a part of it. So we have 2 studies going on. This is the Tada Kids study. This is basically for kids, children in the ages 7 to 13 years old. So please let us know, or please pass on the message to them. It's basically a study in which we're just trying to learn how children eat, what are their dietary behaviors. Just generally, they're supposed to come in and answer a simple questionnaire about what do they eat, how much do they eat in their breakfast, like if they're eating a cereal, then what are they eating with, how much milk are they consuming along with it. It's a fun, cool application on the phone through which the kids will just tell us that how much are they eating and how often are they eating it. So it'd be really nice if your kids would want to be a part of it. The next study, which is our study about a family-based intervention, it'll be amazing if you guys would want to be a part of it. It's the HEAL NCD study, which is basically healthy eating and living study. All that Niyati spoke to you about, we'll be teaching you all in much detail about it. We'll be giving you information about what foods are healthy, how should you have a more healthy lifestyle, what is the importance of physical activity in your life. And the best part about these studies is that you participate with your entire family in it, because the main motto of this study is that your dietary behavior or your eating habits are defined by what are your family's eating habits. So if the whole family's eating habits influence whether the family will get a disease or not. So we're going to concentrate on teaching everybody about healthy eating habits in this study. So please come. If in case you guys want to be a part of these studies, these are the email IDs. We'll also be Rachel is passing flyers to you all about the study information. Please feel free to email to us or just call us on the number mentioned over there. And anybody who wants to talk to me in person, I'm here for some time and we can talk about this study. Thank you.